Good evening. Who do we have here?
Oh, Laura's here.
I should be able to read that now, but I still can't.
You.
Didn't help. Maybe the other eye done, it's supposed to improve. Didn't improve anything. All right. Minutes from the last meeting, which was October 24th. Everyone had a chance?
I move we accept the meeting, the minutes.
I'll second.
Any corrections, changes? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Do I? Wrong one.
Anyone here from Berkshire Gas?
Why do I have the wrong ones?
What?
I have the wrong one. You did the wrong, different, not the complete agenda. Wrong agenda. Yeah. Great. I have it here. You do? Good, because I don't.
Yeah, like I could read that.
It's mostly the same. I'll tell you what's different.
No one from Berkshire Gas.
Thank God.
I'm sorry, can you hear me?
Berkshire Gas?
No, it's David.
Yes, Harrison Pesci, I'm here on behalf of Berkshire.
Okay. From what I heard, that went before the selectmen the other day?
We denied it.
It was denied.
Denied. All of
So do we
it.
need to discuss this any further then?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, we need to know what the deal was on the
Stormwater?
stormwater.
All right, the question we had was, and it seems that some of the runoff had changed, and maybe it was just, maybe there was some grading, maybe it was some roadway work or parking area work or just tree removal, but could you explain to us why there is runoff going where there wasn't runoff before?
There was paving done,
Did you do paving, blacktopping,
yes.
that would have shed water? Hello?
He's muted,
Maybe setting up for screen share.
and he's muted too.
Hello?
Are we on?
I'm sorry, were you waiting for me? My connection cut out.
Okay, the question came up about stormwater runoff and why it changed. So we'd like to know what you've done different, blacktopping, driveway work, tree removal, grade change, that type of thing. Could you explain to us what might have happened?
Where is this directed towards? What specific location?
The driveway, two houses to the west. It's a long gravel driveway. McDonald's owns the property.
And you're inquiring what Berkshire did?
Yeah, what changed?
I am not specifically sure what you're referring to. We didn't have any notice of this meeting until yesterday. We weren't sure what Berkshire was on the agenda for.
So I think we had questions, I had a few questions. One was about whether there was ever a stormwater management plan for the driveway. We don't even know how long or the square footage of the driveway. That's something that's information you could get to us that would be helpful. I also wondered about the buried mercaptan and what kind of container it's in, if there's any soil testing around it to see if anything is leaking. And the third thing that I wondered was whether there was ever anything filed with natural heritage, because this is in the ACEC, where there's endangered species, rare species. I don't know if anything was ever done to see if where that driveway went, it was cleared with natural heritage. I don't know if other people had questions also, but those were my questions.
It was the paving that we were concerned about.
So you probably are ill-prepared for this then if you just heard about it. But we could probably use a site plan of the property that's there. Length of driveway, composition of the driveway, parking area, that type of thing. Location of buried tanks and what they are.
And distance to any resource areas. It's not clear to me
Yeah,
from the mapping how close these things are to any resource areas.
Looks like he's lost his connection again.
Or is he?
I'm here.
Oh, yeah.
No, I'm just writing down everything you're saying so I can go back and take a full inventory.
We ask for a site visit? We can actually see it.
well, let's get a map of the place and then we'll do a site visit.
Oh, we haven't. I think Stephanie and David have one. Don't you?
Rich Bradway has one.
And Rich Bradway has
the-
it.
Has the one he got from the Berkshire Natural Resources
Okay.
Council.
And I have that, but I can't tell distances. You know, it looks like there's wetlands on that map that Rich said, but I can't tell how far.
Yeah, I actually haven't seen that map specifically. I have some photos, some large size photos that I can show you of what the surface looks like. I don't know if that's helpful in terms of being able to decide if it's something that you have a concern about.
We can't wait too long or we'll end up with snow on the ground.
This is the map that Rich sent. That's the location.
And just to be sure we're all on the same page, what's the specific site address that we're referring to here?
In Stockbridge.
9 Lee Road.
Yeah.
9 Lee Road, okay.
I haven't seen Rich's map, but I know that the whole entire property exists within the ACEC drainage basin.
Right? Pull that up.
The ACEC, though, does not necessarily, the fact that it's in the ACEC does not necessarily trigger any kind of permitting requirements unless there are resource areas, and those are the things that we're trying to determine. When they paved the driveway, was the disturbance to the area greater than 10,000 square feet?
Didn't think anybody.
When was it done? Because it would have either fallen to the planning board if it was more than 2 years ago, or to the Conservation Commission. So we're not sure whether that was something that should have been filed for or not.
I don't have the
We're
internet.
not sure what the distance is from
Yes.
any resource areas that are in the area. Obviously, the Campusa Bog and the brooks and tributaries are something of concern. But again, we don't have distances to know whether, if it would be 200 feet under the town wetland bylaw, it would be 100 feet.
Wireless
Likely
access,
was the river,
have cell
would be
access.
200 feet, would be our jurisdiction.
Okay. I don't know exactly when it was done, but living next door, my recollection would be that it would be likely greater than 2 years.
Okay, so then that would have been, they should have gone for a permit for planning board if the disturbance was over 10,000 square feet.
And that I don't,
Yeah.
I'm not sure about that.
Well, we have questions and it doesn't sound like we're gonna get answers.
So maybe these we could get answers based on the questions that we have.
Would you like me to compile the answers to these questions and report back, or provide a report to you? How would you like to handle that?
That would be great.
You could report to the Concom office, send a report. We may want to come out and look at it once we get this map.
Could they
Sometime,
email the maps early or no?
email the maps
Just to us, or, yeah, just email them to us.
to the
I can
Concom
ask
office.
Rich, right?
I think we have the stuff from Rich Bradway.
Or do you have?
Yeah, but you can't tell distances.
No, you can't.
And there's resource areas,
This was,
On there, but
this
you
was the
can't-
NRC that did
yeah, you
that.
can't tell the distance from these maps, so.
All right, I'm going to ask for some mapping and as many answers to questions that we've raised so far. Our next meeting is December, whatever,
November
28th.
20.
November 28th. Yeah, that's-
Okay.
If you could get that to us before then we could do a site visit in the next week or so after that, if we have any more questions, that is. And then we can resolve whatever needs to be resolved here. Is that
Okay, that
doable?
shouldn't be a problem.
That's doable then.
I don't know where this went.
We have his name.
Harrison Pesky.
Harrison Pesci.
Do we have an email for him?
Yeah, Mr. Pesci, do we have an email for you?
I can give you one. It's long, so just be ready.
Okay,
It's my first name. It's Harrison, HARRISON
yeah,
.Robbins, ROBBINS
yeah,
Pesci, PESCE
okay.
at avantgrid.com.
At what?
Avantgrid.com.
I don't know what that is. Could you spell it for me,
Yep.
please?
AVANGRID.com.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, so we'll continue this to the 28th. And you get us every information piece that you can, and we'll deal with it then. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
Mass DOT Wildlife Walkway, do we have any more information on that?
I don't think so.
That'll be continued then.
Mr. Chairman, I have a few items that would fall under the informal. I was hoping that I could come up, please.
Oh,
Sure. Who brought cookies?
You did? Geez, I can't be on the planning board. I have a cookie on having dinner.
Take two. You can have mine.
Thank you, Kate.
They're from Kate.
Well, good evening, Commissioners. Brent White from White Engineering for your record. Few older items that I was hoping to address briefly with the commission here. The first is an update with respect to the 82 Interlaken project that was approved back in 2021. The commission may recall we had a site visit at the beginning of this year while the site was under construction, and I had made mention we would be coming before you with an amended order of conditions with regards to some changes to the waterfront, as well as the relocation and permanent driveway for that here. I anticipate having a full submittal to the commission for your meeting on November 28th, and imagine that shortly after that, it maybe coincided with the matter you just had here, hoping to have on your radar for a site visit at that property. So
All right.
wanted to.
Don't have a date set up for the site.
No, I realize you'll set the site visit meeting at the next day. I just wanted to let you know that you'll have that for the next meeting, and hope to be able to have a site visit between there and your first meeting in December.
So these are revisions to the plans.
That is correct.
So do you want a driveway where it was the construction driveway?
That is correct,
Of course
yes.
you do.
And I think we even made mention that at the time here, we would be coming back before the commission for that here on a permanent basis. But there's a number of things on the property, changes on the waterfront, actually improvements on the waterfront compared to what the commission had approved here. And obviously the driveway is the second larger component of that. So just wanted to make you aware that you'll have a set of plans from my office as well as the landscape architect's plans, a summary of all the plan changes for that. So wanted to put that on your radar. In September of this year, the commission was kind enough to issue an emergency permit for the Letman property at 23 Mackinac Road. That was a tree that was leaning on the house. He had conducted a site visit on September 12th. Unfortunately, due to some scheduling mishaps, they were not able to have the tree removed within the 30 days that the emergency permit authorizes. They are ready to proceed, and as a part of our scheduling the work, reviewed the permit and realized that it had expired. So I told them I was coming before you this evening here and was hoping the commission would be willing to extend that, so.
Wasn't that big of an emergency then?
I think there was intentions to have it done in
What was the address on that, Brent?
23 Mackinac Road. And the original permit was granted till October 15th here, and here we are, November 14th.
Just extended.
We just extended?
Nothing's changed, right?
Nothing's changed, sir, and if I can reference the minutes of this meeting as an approval to get this done as soon as possible, I will convey that to the arborist and.
Sure.
I'll make a motion to extend the permit
Thank you.
another
Second.
30 days.
All in favor? Aye.
Thank you. No, and for the record, we actually do have a signed contract for a more comprehensive notice of intent on that property, which the required replanting will be a part of that condition of the original emergency permit here.
Okay.
And the last of items that would fall under the informal is with respect to the hog property. It's a vacant parcel over on 24 Lake Drive. I had received an order of conditions in January 15th of 2021. It is coming up for expiration. The property is for sale and they do have some interested parties for that. And we just wanted to ensure that the paperwork could be assigned to preserve that, the extension of that order of conditions. We realized any plan change, we filed the amendment back in September here, but we were just hoping to possibly have the paperwork signed, so we can record that.
For an extension of the.
Yes, sir, no changes, any changes to that would be more substantial. We have conveyed to the real estate agent and any prospective buyers that any changes to what we've proposed would require that they come back. That also had a fairly substantial boardwalk that provided access from the house site down to the waterfront. There was kind of a heavily vegetated area, so.
Yeah.
I believe we have to renew the planning board special permits. There were some COVID extension deadlines and questions on that here, but in this case here, we're just seeking to extend the order of conditions for 3 years to preserve that approval from 2021.
So I have that request.
Make a motion to extend.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you all.
Timing was good.
And my last item is number one on your agenda here. And that was for the 0 Dugway Road. That was simply a matter of having to wait till this evening for the Berkshire Eagle to be able to publicly advertise, not in the Bennington banner that you hear this evening. You signed the stormwater permit at your last meeting. You have received that. Thank you for turning that around so quickly. And
Yeah, I have preliminary, I have a preliminary thing, because apparently things are a little confused.
I didn't see this order of conditions. Is that
So
what
this,
it has?
yeah, it is not complete, so it's, so we permitted the stormwater, which is the big deal
Yep.
of this.
And wasn't the house out of our jurisdiction?
Yes.
under Wetlands Protection Act, yes.
Yes. So we just need to, so we can say it's fine and we can approve it and then we can sign it and then I can finalize it.
Okay.
All right. We're not signing tonight.
We can sign
We can sign.
if we want.
If you could, please,
We could, because they,
But then we
They've been
send it
waiting.
on, right?
I'm sorry.
Then you send it on?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Actually, you can check the box under hand delivery. I can take it. It'll be my
Yeah,
responsibility.
because it's not complete. It's not complete.
Okay,
So it'll go out Thursday.
okay. That works.
Okay. That's the best I can do.
Okay.
Yeah.
They still have some time to get things moving, but that way I know we can record it right in our office the day we get it and
Yep.
they'll be legally permitted to start their work.
Can you come here and pick it up on Thursday? If you miss the mail.
Yes. Yep.
Between Shannon, Aaron, or I, one of us will be here
Okay,
Pick that up. What time on?
I don't know if we had a discussion with anybody about that or not.
I mean, do you typically, put in your order of conditions
It's
or whatever it
it's
is?
a boilerplate in the order of conditions that it has to be native planting.
And then you ask them to do a certain amount of planting?
Yeah, they give us a planting plan.
Yeah. And we also cite the LPOD, that it is required in the LPOD that they have a 35-foot buffer from the edge of the lake.
Right.
And we always tell them that. And in some cases, it's not possible, really the 35 feet from the lake would put it in their living room.
Right.
So that's,
Right.
it's kind of an issue. But for many of the properties, the 35-foot buffer would be, certainly possible and obviously would be beneficial to everybody. And I'm not sure that people really understand how good a good planting would be for keeping geese off your property, for instance.
Well, I think White Pines could potentially showcase that. It's a very visible location. And, potentially we could work with them and see what we get.
Is that beach as well as boat launch right there? That area?
Now that there's really beach there.
Yeah, because
Just shoreline.
if it's just boat launch, I mean, they can do a planting 10-foot wide there, anything, and just leave them access to the water for their canoes and stuff.
Yeah, no, I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very, very shallow. I have swum there a couple times. It's quite unpleasant because, it's mostly just so shallow. You can swim out 300 feet and you're still, you're about a waist high. So, yeah,
There's quite a plume from Lily
That's-
too, isn't there?
I'm sorry.
There's a plume from.
During a
You can
storm?
see it.
Yeah, during a storm, yeah.
Yeah, it used
Yeah.
to,
I mean, it would have all been, that area would have been, I remember, you probably do too, it used to be wetlands in there. So, it's been made into a beach, but,
Well, that whole side of the lake is all sand. And that's not an original sandy shoreline.
right.
That's from Capella, Tanglewood, the camp, White Pines. I don't know which way the town beach sand goes, but
I don't think sand is still going in at White Pines or Tanglewood, but I'm not sure about Crepallo. I doubt.
no, because I just talked to Moose. Well,
Yeah, Moose would never.
no, he wanted to do something with the beach because it was absolutely disgusting. There must have been 70 geese sitting on the edge of the water.
My understanding is that the management at Kripalu has been stripped and reformed entirely, top to bottom recently.
Do you want mama?
Because we were talking about that the other day in
Yes, sir.
some meeting that I was in, one of the many gazillion meetings I was in, and the person said, I don't know. Oh, I know. It was the
It was fire chief.
fire chief.
Yes, ma'am.
Who said he no longer has a contact at Kripalu because they've redone their whole.
Tanglewood has the BSO has a lot of interims going on, interim positions too. So,
This was apparently a house cleaning.
at Crepallo?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, so thank you. And if you have any, you can email me if you have any additional thoughts, but it's a work in progress. So thanks for
So
the
we
question.
appreciate.
And if you see something that you think we should know about,
Yeah, and that, your latest note was great.
Was that helpful?
Yes.
Okay.
Extremely helpful.
All
I
right.
think if we keep each other informed about what's going on and what our concerns are, I think that things will move a lot smoother both for us and for the applicants.
Okay, I can do
there
that.
should be more of this. Yeah.
Yes, I think this is great.
Okay, good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Kate.
what do we got here?
19 Lakeview. Certificate of compliance.
Yeah. You have to sign that, or are we looking to get one? Public hearing.
Sorry. Mints.
Anyone here for
Needed-
mints? Mints?
We need the final letter from Foresight on that about the tree removal before we gave them the certificate of compliance. Mark wrote something up, but it wasn't formal. So we're going to need to hold on that.
Yeah. All right, so that's continued. 19 Lakeview Drive's continued.
We approved the request for log. And then we have tree removal requests coming out of our ears. So I came to the conclusion that our tree removal requested form and everything is really a work in progress. And that we need to, because we have a whole bunch of them. So we've created a monster here. And we have not yet created a way to let the people know that it's okay to do what they want to do. So I have to create a form that follows up on this that we can sign. The question is, do we need to have it be an entire commission sign? Or do we want to have it be like, because really what this is, when it comes right down to it, is really a jurisdictional form, just like the ones we get from the building inspector. We have somebody coming to us and asking us if the trees that they want to remove are of some concern to us. Like, are they near a resource area? Are they going to fall on the house? Whatever. The one at the knoll apparently did fall on the house.
Dead ash tree that's.
The dead ash tree.
Dead ash tree.
Right behind the oak.
Oh,
It
The
fell down.
skeleton tree. Been there for.
I thought they took it down.
Well, it's down
Nature-
now.
Nature took it down for them.
Anyone hurt?
No.
No.
It fell into the stream.
So,
So I hear. I haven't seen it.
So we have the standard jurisdictional form that we get from the building inspector, which is this. I don't know if everybody's seen it, but I'll pass it around. It gives, various names and places and all that kind of stuff. And we decide whether, based on this site visit that one or two members of the commission go on, whether or not the thing that they're asking for or proposing is significant to us. Is it something that's jurisdictional? Do they need to file a request for determination? Is it fine? They can just go ahead because there's nothing jurisdictional? Or do they need to file a notice of intent? So in retrospect, having spent some time on the phone with one of the attorney for one of the applicants that we had for the tree removal, it occurred to me that really what this tree removal request application form is the equivalent of a jurisdictional form. And they're asking we're asking why they want to remove the trees. And we say safety, forest health, aesthetics, or other. The distance in feet from the trees to be removed to the closest structure or resource area. So the house, shed or other outbuilding, pool, river, lake, pond, barn, or detached garage, driveway, dock, other, explain. So if they just want to do it for some sort of aesthetic reason, and there's nothing that concerns us in terms of jurisdiction, then I think we should just be able to say, yeah, go ahead and do it. But the question is, do we need to make it a whole big deal where the entire commission thinks about it, or do we then can decide based on the review by whoever goes to look at the property in the same way we do jurisdictional, that yes, it's near a resource area, and yes, you need to file a permit of some kind, whether it's a request for determination of applicability or a notice of intent.
So I actually don't have a preference between those two, but I think the communication needs to be better.
Yeah,
Because I don't know, like, I keep seeing the emails of people saying
right,
they've asked again and again and again, and I don't know if anyone's going to look, I don't know.
right, exactly.
So
That's why
that
we need
kind
the
of
follow-up form
Okay,
that we can just mail to them and
We
say,
need a date on all this stuff too.
yeah,
but you,
But, I mean, can't, other than an additional form, can't there be a bottom
Yeah,
on the
check off on the bottom.
pre-request form that, says.
approved or not approved.
right,
Concom members have inspected and either they've approved it or like the other says,
well, this does on the second page have a say, date of site inspection. Names of commission members present. Is information provided by applicant accurate? If no, explain. And other observations, findings, or comments. So I think that this piece, maybe this page needs to be separate from the other pages. And we can make a copy and send it to the applicant, and then we,
And have it approved or not approved.
Right,
Check the
exactly.
box.
Yeah.
But if the whole thing, even that second page, can get scanned to us, so we know. Because there's things that we've looked at and I don't know what the final decision was, or you've gone out and looked with people and I'm not sure what's happened. So if we can, as a
Right.
commission, if we can see that information, I would find it really helpful.
yeah, we definitely need a better process than what we
I
have.
think just approve or not approve on the bottom.
If it's a resource area, then two of us can sign off on it and say you need to, file whatever type of application, you figure is best.
Yeah.
But
Just like
now you're talking-
jurisdictional.
Now you're talking about areas outside of the resource area, right?
Right.
So that's a whole new deal.
Well, in the case
We're
of,
covering more town.
in the case of
More.
the
Tripling the amount.
The whole- yeah.
in the case of the one behind the knoll, where it says, where they were concerned that it was a safety issue, because that's something that they can check off, that it was a safety issue. So if we determine that, in fact, yes, it is a safety issue, they can file an emergency certification request if it's in a resource area, the way that was. I don't think we're going to find that very often. I think mostly if they say if it's a safety issue, we just say, go ahead and take it down, no problem. But if it's in a resource area and it's a safety issue, then they are supposed to file a permit, even if they're permitted by the emergency certification. The emergency certification says, yes, you can do the work, you can do it now.
But at the end-
you still have to file the form that you would have had to file if you had come in and it was not an emergency.
And is it clear on that form that, if the tree you're concerned about isn't anywhere in a resource area, you don't need to file the form?
I think that's where we come back to them, the same way we do with the jurisdictional form. That we come back to them saying, we have A, B, and C. A is notice of intent must be filed in an order of conditions before work can begin. B, a request for determination of applicability must be filed and a determination of applicability must be issued before work may begin. And C, based on the information provided, does not appear the Conservation Commission has jurisdiction. So we have those three options for telling the applicant what they need to do next. And I think in this case, we would also need to file an emergency certification request as well.
Well, I think my concern is that, that's for somebody applying for a building permit.
Right.
How many of those are there in town in the course of a year? Versus how many times?
Ton.
But how many?
One a week.
But compared to how many times is an arborist coming down, taking down trees in town? I think we're talking an order of magnitude difference there. And if we have to sign off on every tree job,
We're out a lot.
I thought it was only,
it's crazy. We can't do it.
I thought you said it was only the trees in the resource area.
It should only be.
But who determines that?
No, we had a discussion in a meeting,
Yeah, it
and
should
you
just
turned
be
to me and
resource.
said it's only the resource area trees that
Yeah, we don't
the
have-
tree removal law
Right.
will apply.
Anything else, I mean, if it's a town tree, it's the tree warden, it's not us.
So we have it, once we determine it's a resource area, you could,
It's almost like we need a map where our jurisdictions would apply to each house in town. Otherwise, we have to go there.
the guy who's got that stuff at his fingertips is the DOT guy that just retired, the Indian man.
Oh, really?
He
Good.
was supposed to give us,
Amer retired?
yeah, but we had a meeting, and in the course of the meeting, I remember asking him, he had, he could make it any size you want with any kind of resource area delineated and everything else that would apply to, the type of questions we would normally ask. He could put it on the map for the town of Stockbridge. And he said he'd do it. He says, I'll make you a map in the meeting. So might be worth a call to him to see if we could, whoever his replacement is.
You can also look in Mass GIS too.
Yeah.
We treated him pretty well. I mean, over the course, he brought his daughter into a meeting, and he wanted to do that. I think he just forgot. Just, I'd say 4x5, you could frame it and just keep it around here, pull it out when you need it.
Downstairs and bring it with us. You
You'd be
can
doing,
tell when we need it.
yeah. I mean, it's like, this is great. When Marie's here, we have the planning board opinion on lots of things, we can refer to you.
But as that stands, that's a whole nother story, whole nother
What's that?
issue. To go out and check where each one of these trees is, let's say it's on,
Oh,
it could be any road. Just half the town is water.
I had one
The
today.
waters of the town's near a stream or a brook or a pond or
Yeah.
a swamp or marsh.
Somebody asked me about, can I got a safety issue, ash trees. And I said, well, really, you should talk to the Conservation Commission because I know it's near a stream. And they're dead and they're leaning over towards the house.
Yeah. So someone has to go there or two and say, yeah, fine, take them down.
Yeah, you shouldn't have the whole board involved.
Mileage though.
The whole board involved in something like that is,
There's certain trees that are hostile to the resource area, that kind of thing. I was just reading an article tonight about the 20 most, I don't think they said dangerous, but various trees that were a problem. For instance, weeping willows they seek water, and sometimes they'll tangle up a
Sewer lines.
water pipe or
Drainage.
sewer pipe. But there was a whole list of trees, and I'm just wondering if, like, when we think about this, if we shouldn't consider the tree that is to be taken down, like, is it,
Well, there's hazard trees.
I'm sorry?
There's hazard trees and there's trees that.
there's weak trees,
Yeah, I mean,
stuff
there's
like
a lot
that.
of reasons why you're going to take down a tree.
right.
But
At the knoll, one of the trees they wanted to take down.
Some of them are more detrimental.
Healthy, but it's a Norway maple and it's leaning towards the building system. Take it down. We don't really care. Just when you replant, and they're gonna replant 2 red maples, leave the stump there and plant those.
But I found when I was talking to the attorney that I don't know the answer to these questions on this one.
The knoll.
To know.
Sorry. But I know the area, I can take a shot
What
at it.
the disposition is. I don't know what we decided. That's what I'm trying to get at.
That's where I lose
Yeah,
track of what's
yeah.
happened, because I thought you said you went back with the
I've been there.
arborists. And they were,
Four
I was
times.
out walking. over the
I've seen it
weekend,
too,
And they were
yeah.
taking down trees over the weekend.
Yeah, those,
Where's that?
some of the trees came down and three of the trees, I think.
Okay.
There's one still leaning.
But see, this is the thing, when somebody goes to look at a jurisdictional, I get this form,
Yeah.
and I have a spreadsheet that I put things in, so I can go back and look quickly at that. I also have a file, so I have a physical file and I have a spreadsheet when I've gotten it up to date, which isn't always. But I feel like that's what I need with this tree form, is that I need to know that somebody looked at it and said, oh my gosh, there's nothing there. Check it off, without even having to go and look. There are a bunch of properties that we can just say, no, you can take down any tree you want to because there's nothing. Like my old house, there's no resource area that is of any concern to anybody. So if I wanted to take down any tree I wanted to there would be nothing that would
But
Castle Hill.
we did go and look at this.
We did.
We did, we went.
Well, that's the new house.
Time.
So what happened?
That was the new house.
The old house.
Oh, and the knoll.
So what happened?
New house has resource area.
Yeah.
So what happened to the form? How was the form filled out when we went to look at it?
We didn't, that's the
So we
thing.
should have.
We did a tree removal form.
We did the tree removal form, but the part we didn't do is the second part,
Is getting back to them?
is filling out this part.
Okay, so we need to make sure that the whole thing gets
To
filled
fill out this part, so, and I think we need to update this part a little bit so that it's got the 4 possible results.
Yeah.
No problem. You need to file a notice of intent, you need to file determination for applicability or file for an emergency certification.
So if you add that on there and we make sure whoever goes out and looks,
As
fills out the whole thing and sends it to the commission so we know what happened, I think that would take care of it. Got all that?
When's the last time somebody took one of those out?
I'm happy to do some of them.
Well, I don't mind doing it, but I come in and pick something up, and Jennifer calls me and says, oh, I got something for you to look at or sign. Jennifer, I was just there. Not coming back down to town hall again the same day. So maybe it's a day or two later, then it's a day or two before I get to go look around these places. Now a week's gone by.
Right.
And if I do sign one way or the other, then it comes back in here and it sits for another day or two or whatever. So, and if we just had a
Goes and
meeting,
looks in the box, though. Jennifer does.
oh, yeah,
And she'll write scanned on the top of it once it's been signed.
yeah, once it's signed, she puts it back in the box.
So if it would help, if you would send you a trip, I'm happy to look at some of the tree ones. We'll go with you.
Now, she's not gonna notify me when there's a tree one unless we have her do that. So something may sit in the box. I mean, I come down here 3 days a week, check. But that doesn't mean that I've got everything that came in on Friday, and it might be Tuesday before I look at it again.
Well, unless it's an emergency one, that shouldn't be an issue.
Oh, this guy had to know everything.
So do we have to do anything else with the knoll?
No,
It came down?
I don't know. The big oak wasn't coming down until last I knew. They were
The
gonna
big
trim,
oak was still there.
they were gonna trim dead branches off of
Yeah,
it.
the big oak is still there. I walked by.
Oaks have the taproot and they're
Oh, it's
in
a big-
strong wood. So
it's a
they're gonna,
That tree's been there almost 100 years now. It's gonna be there long.
they're gonna pick a tree. That's one of the best ones to take to
Yeah.
survive
Yeah,
these
that's a very strong tree.
changing times.
But that's not according to the condo owner.
Well, he's going to have to get over it. So an interesting point, when my conversation with the attorney is apparently there's some regulation that has to do with condos, that if you are an owner of a condo and you have an emergency situation like that, you do not have to contact do not have to get permission from
Robert
the
Stinson is waiting on this.
From the condo association.
condo association, but then who, I mean, you can pay for, you pay for it up front, and then you have to go fight with the condo association as to
But
who's
it's not even
actually
their
gonna pay.
property though. They own, when you open the door and step in, that's what they own.
Right. But apparently there's some other regulation that she was telling me about that has to do with condos.
I gotta see that before.
All right, so date of site inspection, I want to finish this, I want to get this out. So Ron Broker, Lisa Bizzuto, me, who else went?
I went.
Jamie,
And Chuck,
Chuck. Okay. Was information provided by the applicant accurate?
there were no, the trees weren't marked. We didn't know which,
Yeah,
we
no,
looked, but
that's
There
a
was
no.
no markings.
yeah, the trees weren't flagged,
Unmarked.
not flagged.
And we went right out, it was, the meeting was Tuesday, we went like Thursday or Friday.
Yeah, it was probably Friday. So other observations, it's one dead ash,
One leaning Norway
one
maple.
leaning Norway.
And somewhere there was a spruce tree, though. I don't think I ever saw that.
But we didn't
wasn't
see
in the
anything
water, so I don't know.
impending doom. There-
May be removed.
I remember that.
Okay.
And there was some undergrowth there along the stream that they were gonna replace.
And then you went back with,
I was there with Eric Hopp's
so that was
crew
that tree on there
and
too.
made sure he understood
Yeah,
what we wanted. And then he sent us all sorts of stuff with prices
Right.
and everything else in it.
Speaking of trees, do we have, the
yeah, we
guy?
need to get to him. He's been,
Anthony, can you hear us?
Good evening.
You falling asleep, Anthony?
Sorry,
Oh,
Anthony.
no. I came in late. I had another meeting.
Oh, good, because we've been
You're,
gabbing.
you're up to us. We're up to you.
Oh, awesome.
Talk to
Well,
us.
I was just checking in on the two filings there. I know you're signing at least the RDA today.
Signing the RDA tonight, yep.
And the NOI as well, or were you waiting on that for something else?
I think, well, I don't know that we have it to sign, but I think we're set on the trees. Are we finally set on the trees? Because we're gonna add another 6 trees.
Yep, that's what I remember too. And I think, so then we're just looking to schedule a site visit, just to get a plan going from that.
And I asked Michael Canales, and that fence can be taken down.
Okay, good. So the fence that we were concerned about that's along the river, we're gonna have that taken down,
Okay.
and we'll plant some trees along there. But how do we get the information to Anthony about what has to happen?
he's asking for recycles.
Yeah, if a site visit would be easier, and if, in the next few weeks, that's doable. I can come
That'd be
out.
good.
I can even, I can have the landscaper meet us out there as well, just get everybody on the same page. I know you guys like to do Fridays. I'm assuming next Friday will not work, but
No.
It's a holiday.
That's wrong.
And is this Friday too soon?
Because they couldn't plant them down where they're taking.
I personally could do it. I could give them a try to see if they could meet us out. It's not 100% imperative that
They should
they're
have,
there. I would rather get it done sooner than later.
that is,
So that's a possibility.
We'll give you the.
You
I
want
could
to try
do this Friday.
to do this Friday?
I can't.
Right here, right?
I have like 8 things.
thing that he just
I'm
said.
like,
We're gonna have a site visit here Friday, if we
I
can.
understand. I know you.
can't pop up.
I guess I could only do the morning. I guess I would have to caveat that.
I can't do that.
I can't do morning. Can't do it.
It's not working.
Okay, all right, no problem.
I can do more.
We can do Friday morning.
This Friday, the 17th?
Yeah,
I'm like 8
could.
times booked.
you got 3.
Does anybody else really want to be there? That,
This Friday morning works. What time?
Let's say I could do 9 or 10.
10 sounds good.
10 sounds great.
My only suggestion would be to look at, because I won't be there, look at what's already growing there. Because that's going to be the best bet for what will do well there.
Probably Norway.
Native stuff there.
Yeah. If I recall, it's been a while since
Yeah,
I've been there.
there's a nice mix there.
All right, Friday at 10,
This is here behind Town Hall.
All right, awesome.
right out here.
It's right behind Town Hall.
Yep,
Yep.
you can find the police station you found close to where we're gonna be.
All right. Yeah, and I guess, yeah, that's just the last piece. Obviously, we'd be looking at the spring to actually do the planting. Is that what we're all understanding there?
Yep,
Yep.
Okay. And they can, once we have that order of conditions, they're hoping to start tree removal and get things completed this winter. And I can certainly keep you updated on all those updates.
all right. Sounds good.
Otherwise, thank you very much, and I'll see you Friday.
Thank you.
Great.
Night.
Have a good night.
All right, before we go any farther. Stormwater management permit for Namkeg trustees reservation.
Oh, we dealt with that.
Sign that as well.
We did, I think.
Who was there? Nobody did.
Really?
Do we?
A couple of.
Do we need
What?
that thing you'll bring that's working?
Oh, yeah, that's it.
We can get up Thursday.
Oh, right.
We usually, she feels.
We'll go for Fred.
Probably shouldn't be enough.
Anybody here from Mass Electric? No, nobody's left.
Done with that, though.
Lake Drive.
So these,
That was Anthony. Gas electric.
Good catch.
What the heck happened to that? It was fine until I went to print it today.
so just one question on Nom Cake. Can we keep on the agenda? Keep it on there?
The mowing,
Yeah, we still want to find out.
Yeah.
It was not Austin Riggs mowing,
yeah, okay.
but if we can keep that on the agenda. So what do you think?
I don't think it was a highway garage.
I don't
No.
what.
I don't know. Hugh goes a lot of places with those tractors.
Yeah, but why would he do it?
I don't know.
Brian seemed to think.
I walked by there a day or two after it was done too. I can't remember.
I'm sorry?
I walked by there, after they had mown that.
Yeah,
I thought it was, Nonkate came down the hill and did up to the stream. And they must have done it. Nonkate.
he says no. He says somebody else comes in and does it.
They may-
Annual basis, it has something to do with mosquito control. He said it's the state.
Bless you.
And we said, who and why and who authorized it? Now, maybe it's standard practice on trustees' properties,
Many,
but it would certainly be not a very wise thing if you just spent a whole ton of money putting in a pollinator garden to be spraying stuff for mosquitoes.
many years ago, the mosquito control used to, before we got rid of them, used to open up the ditch, which was the stream. It was a little more seasonal then. And so that it would flow and then mosquito larvae would move away. But I had the feeling that Mononke
Did the town,
was involved in that.
did the town disengage from mosquito
Yes.
control? Yeah, okay.
A couple of years ago.
Because you can go online somewhere and omit your property from what they will spray if you're in a town where they still do. And I know that Tri-Town is not in favor of doing blanket mosquito control.
Looked to me that the reason they mowed that was to keep it a field.
And that's okay, but, I mean, Dave had agreed that he still needed to come to us. We do still need to, somebody needs to come to us and talk.
Yeah, that was wet meadow in there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so, and they're saying they don't know who did it, so I'm just saying, keep it on the agenda, because they're gonna do it
Jeez,
again.
Jamie.
I'm allergic to you all.
Have a Dorio.
And did we, one more question, since we're rambling, we didn't hear anything back on the letter, the enforcement letter for the railroad?
No,
No.
So let's keep that on the agenda.
yeah, we need to get back to them too.
Okay.
Yep.
Don't sound.
It's those children.
Yes.
No, they say that if you sneeze like that, it's allergies, it's not sickness. I don't know.
I'm allergic to children.
Mine, my adorable children?
Yes, you're all of them. Under the age of 11.
But they're so cute.
Is there anything else? I could talk about Gould Meadows, but that's kind of a work in progress.
We had a nice meeting about the Gould Meadows thing the other day. That was very interesting.
Just a brief.
We do have a notification of jurisdiction from the town of Stockbridge, project address Gould Meadows, project description Burn Fields.
The meeting last night was with
Karen,
I still don't know how to pronounce her name. Caljouw. Yeah, give me a guess.
like that old program, Wojaho, it's spelled just the way it sounds.
Well, anyways, she's a prescribed fire manager for the Massachusetts Division of Fisheries and Wildlife. And she brought a couple fellows with her.
Andrew Madden and I forget who the other guy is.
He was Alex something. No, I don't think I got Alex's last name. So they described how they would, the conditions they would need. And basically, they were actually very enthused about doing the whole project. They said this is easily because the perimeter's already been mowed, so there's the fire stops.
Yeah, good.
There's roads on two sides and a wetland on another, so there's 3 out of the 4 fires,
Yeah.
depending where you start it,
And Vinny was happy with it.
you know. They burn in sections, if the wind was coming from that way and it came up the hill, they burn this piece and it would burn out, and they'd burn down again, and that would burn out and move the whole fire till they got to the end of the fire lines.
The wind at your back.
Yeah, basically.
And when will we do it?
it? Well, when it's not all wet.
They were saying they couldn't do it before, they need, for the most part, they need 1.5 years out, sort of.
Okay.
Because they have to have the spring growth and the fall growth. And depending on which one you want to burn, you have to have the growth has to come up. There's one piece that they were saying wasn't mowed this year that they might be able to do in the spring.
Yeah, well, actually, if we don't get a lot of snow, they can do it any time of year. But as soon as we get snow covered, it's off till melt. So if we still don't have snow in December, they might burn that one section. And as for mowing, it burns better if you don't mow it. So everything that's already been mowed, they might be able to burn in the spring, but this is all in the works still. And if they do burn, they won't burn every year. Not the same sections. And what it's gonna do is gonna promote new growth. The ash will be like fertilizer. It'll encourage dormant seeds that are there to sprout. So you get rid of all the thatch. Any invasives that are above ground will probably burn woody stuff. We got
Great.
a bunch of stuff in there. It won't get rid of things like goldenrod and stuff like that. That's gonna stay. And it's gonna do in a lot of ticks if they're out in the field. So that's.
Burn
that's-
those suckers.
So that's three things we got in our favor for doing this. And they've got other projects around Berkshire County that are in the works. So it's possible, though slim, that some of that might get burned this year, or at least this winter. Another slim possibility that some of it might get burned in the spring, but you only got a little window there between when the snow melts and when the new stuff starts to grow. There's warm season grasses and cold season grasses. And everything that's green right now is the cold season grasses. And if you burn them off, then the warm season grasses will get a better start in the spring. So, well, I guess, like Sally just said, it's probably a year off. It'll be next
Okay.
fall,
but
winter.
That's
So if
exciting.
people ask why it didn't get mowed, that's basically why, because it'll burn
It'll
better if
eventually
you don't mow it. It's already down on the ground, then the snowpack will pack it down more. But the thatch is what's gonna burn, so what's already there now will start to grow, then die off, and then that'll burn. He said we needed 2 good freezes before they could burn, but still, we don't have the timing to do it in. And so there are gonna be other places in Berkshire County.
Okay.
They can do even undergrowth in the woods and stuff, which would get rid of barberries
Barberry and
and
ticks.
some of the invasives that are in the woods there.
How do they do that? I mean,
Same way, they got these little drip things, they walk along dripping flames.
kerosene or
I
something?
think that's what it is, I don't know. It looks like a little old fashioned oil can, you know,
Yeah.
and they just walk around and just drip, 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 for lines of fire. And then whichever way the wind's blowing, or that's basically how it moves to wherever they stop it, you know. We've got all those pathways that have been mowed all summer. Those are stops. Some of the wet areas, those are stops. These guys do this all the time, so they know where to start and where to stop. And
It was
and
really
actually-
interesting.
and actually, if it got away from us, it's gonna stop at Tangwood's parking lot and
Yeah.
down
the
somewhere
lake.
down on the beach.
Route 183.
That's another stop. They thought those were great places. Part of the concern was where the smoke ends up. You know, that's why they don't burn big patches at once. And if 183 got too smoky, they would close the road for a while, or if Hawthorne Street got too smoky, they would close that for detour people around. So we need the police department, highway department, the fire department, and DEP to
In
coordinate.
the winter, the winds are mostly out of the northwest, right?
Yeah,
And in the summer, they come out of the southeast.
No, some are mostly still on from the west. Yeah. Occasionally we get southern winds.
Yeah.
From many, 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 many years of sailing, I can tell you what it's like on the lake anyway.
but that's its own little weather pattern down there too, so.
Well, sometimes.
So that's in the work. If you see smoke coming on from that end of the,
Drive over, huh? Yeah, come on.
anyways, they're gonna notify.
But it's going to be, there will be a red, an amber alert or a red alert around town on the day that they're going to do it, so that people don't go, when there's a
Stockbridge,
fire.
Lennox.
Yeah.
You know, there'll be signs up down along the parking area. I foresee the major issue being with the dog walkers.
We have to post it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
They're going to be happy not to have so many ticks.
Yeah, yeah.
So
Tucky.
they make it, and we're not gonna burn the whole thing all at once. They'll be doing sections. We have maps of the different fields with acreage in it, and they'll hopscotch
Or
around.
someplace
And
else.
If we know that they're going to burn a certain part of the field, we might think about creating alternate pathways for the dog walkers too. That might minimize the amount of
Yeah,
flack we get.
but once they get into the woods and go down towards the lake, then they're fine.
Right, exactly.
And the path back is along the tree line on the north side of the
Right.
lake.
So it should be
So
fine.
they got, I don't know, someday we should measure that, see how many miles of track we.
But in spite of all cautions, there are an awful lot of people who run their dogs with no leash.
Always. Don't look.
I know the issues. Solo got into a porcupine again the other day.
There was a thing on NPR today where they interviewed somebody who rebuilt their house in California where there were all those fires. Did you hear it?
No.
And at the end, they said, they said, actually, it looks so much nicer down there. You can see in, it's clean and aesthetically, I don't think that's your exact purpose.
No.
But that's what the takeaway.
When I did, and we talked last also about, how the Native Americans used to burn fields and woods and things to change things around. But one of the things that we learned in the Harvard Forest Keystone is one of the things that's happening in the fact that Massachusetts is so forested these days is that there is no emerging forest because nobody clear cuts. And in fact, it is healthy to clear cut certain prescribed areas of woods so that those emerging forests come back because that habitat is pretty much lost now.
To be a progression, yeah.
Yeah.
The top of the mountain up above Echo Lake, we've been up there with the fire department once or twice. The thatch, and I would call it moss, whatever, it's got to be that thick before you get the top.
We get that going, huh?
You'd never get it put out, but nothing can grow through it either.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, there's oak trees up there and all the acorns just sit on the top of the ground and rot. If the squirrels don't get them or deer,
Yeah.
they can't make it to the soil where they can germinate.
There are some grasses now. I didn't mean, go ahead.
go ahead.
No, go ahead. Yeah.
No, I was just going to say, fire also happens naturally. So when it happens, that gets burned down.
Yeah. Well, we went up
Put it
and
out.
put one out that was natural. We
Yeah.
should have let it go, but.
There's some,
That's the thing, we're so convinced that we have to put the fires out, that
Yeah.
that's where they run into all the trouble in California.
you might.
Make a motion to adjourn?
I do.
Second?
All in favor?
Happy
Aye.
Thanksgiving.
Aye. Good night.
Happy Thanksgiving.